It has certainly been a while. More than a while. You could say a long time. Give or take, it was like 11, 12 months ago since the internship arc ended. And a lot has happened with My Hero Academia as far as the manga goes. I mean, yeah, the anime ended too, but we'll get to that on another subject. Obviously, it's a My Hero Academia podcast. You guys know what time it is right now. It's me, LuckyRave, the best with the most. That's the right term.
The most?
Yeah, if that's the the host with the most. If that's the right term we're gonna use here. And as you all know at this point, unless you're new to the channel, these podcasts, I could do them by myself, but it wouldn't be as fun, as engaging as it would be doing it with a group. So I brought along my special friends and special guests. So go ahead and introduce yourself, guys.
Greetings, everyone. As you already heard me correcting Lucky G, it's me, Sparda3g, and back with another podcast. It's been almost a year, which is kind of shocking. I'm not sure which is shocking. The fact that we haven't done a podcast for nearly a year ago, or the fact that time has fly by and it felt like I did this recordings 3 months ago. It's very weird. So, yeah. But I'm still happy to be back with another podcast, and it's just not me. We also have another guest here.
What? Oh, hello, everyone. I'm BlueStarSaber. Sorry, I've just been asleep for such a long time because Mr. Lucky Chi here, or as I'm now going to call him, Mr. Delay, has delayed so long that I've fallen asleep waiting for the next time he would talk about My Hero Academia. But now I'm here to share my thoughts and opinions along with my friends here.
FYI, this guy is also a cursed child, so
you just have to bring
keep
that
in mind.
Oh, you just had to bring that up.
Yeah.
You just had to bring that up, Lucky Chi.
Well, remember, it was your doing, and as to what happened with the internship arc. Let's not forget that.
Oh, yeah, and I told you another chap. Oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, Lucky Chi, you've been behind on nearly every one of your podcasts. I mean, we still haven't done Manga Wars episode 3 yet. Mm-hmm.
That's gonna come. Don't worry. I'm still planning. Hey, as long as 2018 does not end, we should be good. So, that's my deadline.
In October.
I know. I'm like, shit, that's 2 months.
2 months. Like, wait, what I'm saying? We only got 2 months.
Right? I'm like, oh, shit, 2 months. Boy. Got a lot. But yeah, as Blue Star, or the cursed child in this case, has stated, we were one more chapter off from the internship arc actually concluding, even though, for the most part, it was finished outside of one little chapter.
I told you we should have waited one more chapter, but no, you wouldn't listen to me. You just had to rip me for being cursed.
See, that's what happens. Your curse affected the podcast too in a weird way. Because you were like, one more chapter. One more chapter. And look what you did. You ruined the whole
for being
in his
Sorry, go on.
In his defense. No, I was just saying, in his defense, you get the both you get the best of both worlds, the good and bad, from that one chapter. So,
oh yeah,
it kind of balanced it out. Like, nothing has really changed. So cool. I guess the only thing that has changed is we got a death confirmation, I guess. But
which I was actually about to address. So before we actually tackle into the cultural festival arc, we do have to address just briefly, like, that one chapter, and if it did actually change our viewpoint on the internship arc as a whole. And personally for me, like Sparta mentioned, we did get a death confirmation, which we didn't really address last time because the chapter wasn't out at the time. And does it really change the stance on the arc in and of itself? I mean, you could say it added a little bit of weight. Sure. You could definitely say that. But I don't think that chapter fixes the issues that the arc had overall. But that's just my stance on it. What about you guys?
I go first.
Yes.
Well, like I said, it feels like you got the best of two worlds, good and bad in this case. On one hand, people want to I guess if you're really that much of a hungry for deaths or dark deeds, dark storyline. I mean, yeah, you got that from him getting killed off. I guess that's one thing. Oh, it always feels like, you know, whoever has a OP power or something that's like something that's like that you can't just have him around or can't have that person around unless you do one, take the quirk away, or two, kill him off. So the answer is kill him off. And, you know, that whole I could see the future thing is like very broken. So you got to kill him. It's kind of like, oh, this guy could destroy the world in an instant. But he's a good guy. Still, we got to kill him. You know, kind of like, you know, some parts of One Piece. But I won't talk about it here because that's obviously One Piece. That's a different topic altogether. So going back to this one, you know, I guess you could kind of foresee it coming. A lot of people were still betting on Muriel to die. And I feel like that chance was like it's because of like this is the first time, or this is more like it's been going on. The series has been going on for over 150 chapters. Around that point, that we kind of want to start seeing some change up or some mix up. You know, with like Naruto, for instance, you're already seeing a lot of mix up and change up. Like people are getting sacrificed. These characters are not going to be shown around. That character, he's supposed to be going further, but he lost all the ability to be a ninja, so it sucks for him. So it's like kind of like that kind of update. We haven't really got that much with My Hero Academia ever since the All Might part, which is, I wouldn't say it was given, but it was more like when that will happen of All Might retires, if not die. So the retired part came in. Now we just going to see what's new. What's the like. To me, it felt like everything hits the restart button back when provisional exam arc began. That's where it feels like a reset for everything. So with this arc, it feels like you wanted to see something new, fresh, anything that makes you get like, yeah, this is something I've been dying for, edgy stuff or whatever. And yeah, you got that with the death fight, I suppose. I mean, everybody was begging for death. If he didn't die, I guess everybody would hate this arc for universally. But you know, that's just a matter of opinion. Now, you got that. I guess it does hold weight. The only good part is just like the fact that Miriam was affected, and I could relate, not relate, but well, yeah, I could relate to some sense, but I could feel what he's feeling. Like I could understand how he's going through it, and I feel bad for him. Like it sucks for him that he has to lose his master like this way. So that's the one upside. Now the downside doesn't come from that, but it comes from why Deku changed the future. And it's something that if I were to say it out loud, especially knowing that how people really don't like Fairy Tail for whatever reason. Well, I know the reason, but why it has that much hate is beyond me. If I were to say something, I will come back with only my body, missing hands, arms, legs, just my head and my body, because people don't want to hear it. But if anything, it really is an explanation of a fairy tale or a very shonen one-on-one basis that doesn't really try too hard to be very logical, and that hurts. And you know, people were expecting, oh, Eri changed the future. When she exists, they changed the future. Deku did this because he have a way to change the future and stuff like that. But instead, it resorts to because you have a friend. Y'all all work together to change that. But you made it to a permanent thing. Now, again, I don't want to compare to contrast, but One Piece has the same thing. But it didn't discard it. Instead, it tells you, be aware of it for a while. Whenever that time comes, that's because it was predicted. In this case, it's not about prediction, because the fact is, Deku was supposed to die. Night Eye was supposed to die, which he did, but that's because he just went in there for whatever reason. It's kind of most anticlimactic way to go out, if anything. And Overhaul was supposed to escape with Eri. End of story. So when you hear that, it's like it's a guarantee to be changed. Now, the only thing you kind of wish for is the explanation why it got changed. And the way how to explain is very shonen basic. It's nothing that you could say like, oh, that's logical. And this is the series that people relies on logic, even though some of them are getting tempered with a little bit too far now. And so hearing that is displeasing. It's like, so that's my payoff. It's like, it's very like My Hero Academia. It's funny because like you know, we're in 2018 October right now. Like I remember like you see some videos about like how like it's trying to be smart. And I'm thinking to myself, you say that when it was in the heyday. I don't say that anymore when I'm at this moment because it's just a lot of things feels like it's going bare minimum. It's like it's going back to like how shonen series works in a very basic one-on-one. There's no need to strive hard. There's no need to try hard. It's just another series. It's just another shonen series. It used to be like something special, at least to me, but now it's just becoming another shonen series. So with that last chapter, it's pretty much a 50-50. You got the death, cool. You got the Muriel feeling the sadness. That's sad. I felt it. Now you just have the explanation that just kind of like really threw you off like, oh, that's kind of lame. It's like you kind of wish you didn't have that whole quirk thing of being seeing the future and being a permanent future, no less. So yeah, that's my take. It didn't change anything. Maybe probably add a little more of a negative because of the whole change of the future subplot that was hammering in ever since they got to the overhaul.
All right, so I guess my thoughts on the chapter. To be honest, I was actually quite surprised that they were going to kill off this character. To be honest, in many ways, I didn't really see it coming, even though I probably should have. But again, I guess given the fact that at the time my enthusiasm for My Hero Academia was kind of waning, so I probably only read the chapter once or twice, really. So it's like wasn't really paying chapters once or twice at the time, so I wasn't really paying attention to like possible hints that this guy was going to die. But let's see, I'm a little mixed on it. On one hand, the death was quite emotional with how sad Midoriya, All Might, and especially Miro, and I guess maybe Bubble Girl and Centipede. And I remember one of them being sad in that thing. On the other hand, I felt like there was also a missed potential with this guy. I guess maybe just the interactions he could have possibly had with Midoriya and maybe All Might, you know, reconnecting and stuff. But let's see. In many ways, I suppose he kind of served his purpose for this arc, as he was. Let's see, I suppose you don't really, in the long term, want a character that can predict the future. Let's see, hindering like future plot lines because you really don't want to know what's going on and stuff. But I do partly wonder, like before life, this whole changing the future thing. I wonder if it kind of undermines like the previous prediction that All Might's going to die or not. Of course, that still remains to be seen or not, but who knows? I suppose at least one positive thing is that with this chapter is that, let's see, well, I suppose besides the last chapter just before it, is that now you're going to have that sense of death in the series because there are going to be now characters that are going to die. Granted, at the moment, it seems to be the mentor figures, but that's still at least something because most, let's see, any kind of series, really, you at least have some sort of like mentor figure dying and stuff like that. It's not All Might, not yet, but it's at least someone that sort of acted as a mentor figure for Midoriya, but it's more for Miro. And it sort of slightly erases mistakes. But like For Life says, death isn't always necessarily equals good, but I suppose in a way it does add a sense of bittersweetness to this arc for the end. Like, yeah, we saved the girl, defeated the bad guy, but the League of Villains got away with their drugs, and we also lost a hero. Sorry, that's how... Okay, drug-destroying quirks. That's the best I could have said at the time. But yeah, I'm done.
Well, the one thing we forgot to address was the fact that Overhaul's no more. That's the other thing. Like, he is gone completely.
Well, he's not dead.
I thought we talk about that.
He's not dead, but he's like crippled.
No, wasn't he dead?
No.
He's not dead. He's just crippled.
Remember,
He's pretty much going to jail with no arms.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Remember, Shigaraki wanted to keep him alive just because that would hurt more.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's been a while since I've read that chapter, so I just...
It's like if in order for a villain to win, they had to defeat another villain.
It was more of that moment where you see Shigaraki start to grow as this independent villain thing. But yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Better pay off when it comes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it helped on Shigaragi's sense, but...
Let's see. I suppose, should we also talk about how the follow-up chapter also kind of confirmed that Miro, even if when Deku asked Miro if he could like get a new quirk or stuff, because there was always that question in everyone's mind is, would Midoriya offer, let's see, Miro his quirk if he doesn't feel worthy of it and stuff? And Miro responds like, nah, I'd rather get my own quirk kind of thing. I would keep my own quirk. I wouldn't ask for someone else's quirk thing. But I suppose we'll get more detail of that with the next part. Let's see, Lucky Chi.
That part was nice. I think it fits pretty well, because if he had come out and said, oh, give me a quirk, then I would have been like, not what I would have, like not what I would have pictured as far as Mirio's character after something like that, but I think it would have lessened his credibility as a character if that's what had happened. So I think the way how he went about like telling Deku was not only mature, but I think it does, just showcase that he doesn't need to borrow someone else's quirk to feel better. He can always get it back. So that's what I actually liked.
Anyway, so are we now doing the Bakugo and Shoto mini arc?
Yeah, we're gonna briefly talk about it. It'll be brief. It won't be too long. So yeah, basically what we're about to dabble into momentarily is going to be, it's not a provisional license exam per se, it's like a pseudo course, let's call it that. That's what it is, mainly for those who didn't get their license, a la Bakugo, Todoroki. We just got this guy in the anime too, and I'm blanking on his name already.
Let's see, the wind guy, I can't recall.
Yeah, we have him, and then we have Cammy, who, hey, she's around.
Yeah, because as I'm sure most people who have just watched the anime know, that was not actually Cammy taking part of the exam. It was actually Toga.
Mm-hmm.
Disguised as her, so technically she didn't really pass. Nope. But she's been given the chance to do the course along with Shoto and Bakugo. Who's going to do the summary description?
Well, since you asked, you might as well.
What? But I don't really recall everything that happened during this little arc. Okay, let's see. Okay, how do I begin? I suppose the chapter first starts off with like everyone in the classroom learning the news about what happened with like Midoriya and his friends, which was with him. Let's see, Orochiko, Tsuyu, and Kirishima. Was it? Red Riot. Guys,
yeah. Krishma.
Oh yeah, Krishma. Yeah. Krishma. Sorry. I've been following this series.
I can understand you don't remember the other character's name, but Team 10. Okay. Class A. You could remember because they're like the only guys who we really follow right now.
It's been a while since I've been paying attention, but yeah.
In your defense, I kind of forgot the guy who does strings. Strings. Yeah, we use his elbows. I think it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot his name. Fine, I'll cut you slack.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I think the best way to go about like explaining the mini arc is basically they gotta win the hearts of like these elementary kids.
Oh yeah, let's see. Let me get to it. Let's see. Pretty much, it starts off with like first off, everyone just saying, let's see, expressing their concern and if they were all right. Then it immediately cuts to like Shoto and Bakugo heading up for, let's see, their course thing to try and make up for their failure at the exams. On the way, they are met with along with destroying them will be All Might and loudspeaker guy whose name I forgot, but hey,
Mike.
Oh yeah,
Mike.
Mike, come on, Blue Star.
Sorry. I really should bring up I should probably bring up a Wikipedia page, but yeah.
I have a quick question. Which series you can remember at least 15 characters in your top of the head?
Naruto.
Priority.
Wow.
I knew it.
But to be fair, I've had 8 years of Naruto, 2 years of My Hero Academia. And not to mention, My Hero Academia has a lot more Japanese-like names.
Naruto.
Look, I can understand if you were having trouble with Bleach, because they do have a lot of Japanese names.
And even Spanish names.
Yeah, that too. See, even harder for you. I can understand that.
Let's see.
Well, I'm sorry.
Let me just get back to the summary, and then we can criticize my name remembrance. Anyway, they head off to the exams. During there, they meet up with the Wind Dude, whose name I can't remember, and of course, Kami, which we prepare for the exam things. But also there is
Inasa.
What?
His name's Inasa. I just looked it up.
Inasa.
I could have sworn I heard you say Hinata. I'm like, what?
Yes, Sparta. His name is Hinata.
But then again, we got Haikyuu, so I'm gonna forgive you that.
That's true.
Let's see.
I'm gonna give you.
Okay, can I continue with the summary? Otherwise,
Yeah.
But there's also a surprise appearance. That of Shoto's father, the now #1 hero, Endeavor.
Progress.
Right, he's technically.
I see what you did there. Let's see.
Yeah.
Anyway, Orca, let's see, I apologize if I do not remember the number 10 hero's name, but let's see, I think it's Orca or something like that, is teaching the class. Let's see, and all that stuff. Let's see with some of the other failed students. However,
Orca?
I'm sorry, what?
Orca?
Oh yeah, Orca. Sorry, okay, I nearly got it right, but let's see. Orca decides that Bakugo, Shoto, let's see, I'm sorry, what was the Wind Dude's name again?
Inasa.
And Kami, yeah, will do something particularly different from the rest of them. And that is, let's see, handling a bunch of hyperactive kindergarten kids with explosive quirks. Let's see, during which the four heroes has to figure out how to appeal to them, while Endeavor asks All Might a serious question. What does it mean to be the #1 hero? Okay, should I stop from there, or do you want to continue on?
You can continue on.
Okay, so let's see. So I don't know. That's as much as I can remember at the moment. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you're good. So yeah, that is pretty much the course arc in and of itself. And could you say this is the rebound arc for My Hero Academia? I don't know if I would say this arc in particular, but
it's only 3 chapters.
That's the thing. It's like, well, is it? But I'm like, I'm like, well, it's a mini arc.
Yes, it fixed over 30 chapters long. I think it was 30 chapters. I forgot.
Yeah.
It was 6, actually. It was 6 chapters.
Let's see.
6? Oh, wait. What are we talking about? We're talking about the kindergarten thing. That's only 3 chapters.
Yeah, but it's also including the chapters with Midoriya and that certain song discussed later.
Oh yeah, with the
okay.
Yeah, it's including that stuff too.
Yeah, I forgot about that. No.
No, it's not. I wouldn't call it this arc. I wouldn't call it
two red herring back to back. That's redeeming.
Yeah, totally.
I'm kidding. Go.
I'll say this for a mini arc, it was good. I'll give it that. It was definitely good for a mini arc.
That's it.
I think the biggest highlight you could kind of take away is the conversation with All Might and Endeavor, and then also with kind of the stuff with Oyama and his quirk. I guess learning.
Shouldn't we describe what happened with Oyama and Midoriya before we talk about that, or
not necessarily now, because
I didn't really give a description about that stuff.
No, you're good. We got to see what the real Kami's personality is like, so that was kind of intriguing to see.
In other words, every Kohi's character design.
Yes.
pretty much.
Right?
Like if you buy the volumes, you notice that a lot of heroes has done some pose. Let's just
I've
put it
noticed
that way.
that. I'm like, huh.
I'm like, well, I guess this is where their characters come from. Makes a lot of sense to me.
A whole lot of sense.
I don't know. I guess that's fan service for you.
Yeah, fan service, and we still haven't got any service in there. Go on.
But yeah.
No, you wasted 30 chapters long arc. I'm sorry to cut you off. That's what I'm saying. To go
No,
on.
no. It's fine. It's fine. The concept of Bakugo, Todoroki, Kami, and Inasa learning to tame the elementary school kids was neat. Did it work? I'll say kind of worked. I liked how they I don't remember this arc in particular. I don't really remember too well at the top of my head, but I do remember it being nice. I think is the best way I could put it. Just nice seeing how Koei was able to not only allow Bakugo and Todoroki and Kami and Inasa to get their licenses, but also kind of do it in a unique way that was also different from the provisional license exam. So that's just my 2 cents on the arc itself. What about you, Sparta?
Well, if you combine all of them, I'll say it's a fine arc. If you go with the first 3, I say it was a nice, relaxed, charming arc. I guess you call it arc. I mean, it's simple, but it was amusing. It was a little fun. Seeing how they had to maintain their coolness and try to work their way to entertain the kids. It's straightforward, but it's a good relaxation after all that crazy, edgy, wanted stuff. But kind of wish there was a little bit more, because it'd be like, oh look, not more of that, but more of how to make up for the exam for Bakugo and Shoto. So it ended just there, and I was like, oh, that was kind of quick. Oh well, that was fine while it lasted. The other 3, I find it fine. I guess a lot of people were upset because they thought they was gonna find out the traitor thing, because I forgot that was the plot line too. So,
I know. I forgot about this. I was like, oh yeah.
Everybody was betting on Ayama to be the traitor, but that's not the case. That's no. It was just him just looking out for Deku, and that was the end of it. It was like,
it was actually cool. Like, huh, of all the people.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, get ready for that errand scene. It never happened. So other than that, it was fine. Oh, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Blue Star.
Okay, I've just skimmed through some of the chapters, so it will probably be a bit more easier for me to describe my thoughts. In many ways, I suppose this arc was perfect for a sort of quiet aftermath after the big arc that was the internship arc. Sort of like a cool down, if you will. Kind of like how the Revive arc for One Piece was kind of like a cool down after what happened in Whole Cake Island, but we'll get to that once we do another One Piece podcast eventually. But hey, which might be a while given all this pacing as of late. But anyway, yeah. In many ways, I suppose this was the perfect cool down for My Hero Academia, as it did a few character interactions, a bit of world building, and some sort of potential plotline lines and buildings, such as you're getting to see Shoto and Bakugo interact with the students from that other high school that is also rivals UA in terms of popularity, and you even got that guy who Bakugo defeated appearing as a brief cameo. I can't remember his name, but I'm pretty sure most people who've watched the latest season know who I'm referring to. You got really interesting action, between All Might's endeavor as they talk about what it means to be the number 1 hero, with him resulting to try and do better, not just as a hero, but as a father to Shoto. With even the Naira, was it Lucky Chi? The wind guy?
Inasa.
Inasa, who you would expect to be quite outraged of Endeavor being there, ends up being quite supportive when he sees this sign of change and promise that he does to Shoto. And you also get a fun little interaction with some of these kindergarten kids, which does a little world building by revealing that with each generation, the quirks of the kids get more powerful, so there is a concern about controlling them when they're younger. Luckily, which leads to some funny interactions between them going like, Bakugo's too easy to anger, Nayoi is just too eager, I guess. Let's see, I guess I can't remember what they criticized Carrie for, PG-13 or something, I can't recall. And Shelter being boring, with them eventually figuring out on how they could make using their quirks for fun, such as, I believe, Shelter making an ice slide of sorts, but yeah. It was just like a cool down arc, and also bringing back Shelter and Bakugo, who are perhaps two of My Hero Academia's most favorite characters. Well, according to the Japanese polls, Bakugo is currently the favorite, but anyway. And then afterwards, we get Midoriya interacting with a character you wouldn't really expect him to strike quite a friendship with, the side character Amuro, as you begin to wonder why he's paying attention to Midoriya quite often. I mean, we all know that they've recently become quite roommates due to the fact they're being on the same floor. But as we see going to the class training, and after a while, after Midoriya gets creeped out by Amuro a bit, particularly with the cheese obsession, we find out a little something deep about Anomi's backstory, where it was revealed that his quirk doesn't quite work with his body, so that's why he needs that naval laser thing, and he's trying to bond with Midoriya because he sees Midoriya to be similar to like him, how his quirk doesn't quite suit well with Midoriya's body either, even though he doesn't quite know the reason for why that is with Midoriya, because he was originally quirkless. But it ends with like the two becoming kind of closer friends. Granted, I'm pretty certain, I doubt, Amuro will be Midoriya's closest friend. That's going to probably remain as, either Ochitaku and probably Bakugo in the sense. It will hopefully it does show promise of more interesting interactions between Midoriya and the rest of his class. And that ends my thoughts for that arc. A nice slow down arc after the intensity that was the internship arc.
That leads us into the main topic of the podcast, which is the UA cultural festival arc, I should say. And it's kind of interesting when it came to this arc in particular, because I remember, we had the chorus arc, and then we had the mini arc, and then we had the internship arc. And when the internship arc did officially end, I was kind of like, well, all right, Koei probably knows where he had some bumps in the road with that arc. So I was curious seeing what he was going to do with this arc. What is the UA Cultural Festival arc? Well, to summarize it like this, UA Academy is holding its annual cultural festival, and Class 1A, Midoriya and the gang, they pretty much decide to perform a dance with a live band in hopes of not only easing the public's doubts of what's been happening. That's kind of like the main intention behind it. But also, Izuku, Deku in this case, he wants to make sure that Erie's able to smile with the performance that his class is going to do. While that entire thing's going on, we have a gentleman and a very short, red-headed figure planning to make their mark on history, I should say, with UA and the cultural festival as their target. And honestly, that's basically the rundown of the arc in and of itself. That's kind of like the big premise behind it. On paper, it's like, well, if you're coming up from the internship arc, it's kind of low stakes. Which it is. Is that a bad thing? No. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I'll say this. Actually, no. Let me save my thoughts for afterwards. So, I will let you guys give your thoughts, going into this arc.
Well, I wasn't sure exactly what was going to happen, really, I guess. I knew that, the series would need to find its way after the internship arc, because it does seem like the mangaka is, struggling what to do now that All Might has lost his abilities. Koei decided to do, since this is a high school academy, he decided to do the school element, in other words, the slice of life, by doing a school festival, in which you'd see each of the classes have to come up with their own ideas and stuff. Class 1A decides that since this, from what they've heard, since this is supposed to be about, since this is the moment where all the other classes get to shine, since the sports festival, only really Class A and Class B get a chance to shine because those are genuine hero competitions. This is for all the other classes where they show off their inventions, their business skills, and their social skills, etc., etc. So they decided to do a music festival in order to celebrate them and stuff. However, there's all different kind of interaction. Everyone's kind of has different thoughts about it. Generally, most of the class is excited for it, but some of those outside the class are not so well fond of the idea and thinking that Class 1A is being cocky or arrogant, which kind of makes Bakugo kind of like, doesn't really want to do it and stuff. But it leads to quite a few characters getting something to do, interesting to do. For example, Jiro, I'm sure everyone knows our lovable music girl and earphone Jack. But see, being like the music person, ends up being the one in charge of to do all the music things, where she's playing the guitar, the singing, and also helping out with the band members, which I believe were Bakugo for drums, let's see, I'm trying to remember the eagle guy's name, Toyayama's for the guitar. Let's see, you set up the band, the stage crew, and the background dancers, pretty much. It's been a while since I've read this arc, so I don't quite remember everything. Sorry, Lucky Chi.
You're good.
So, you have everyone set up to do stuff. It's kind of funny how Mineta doesn't get a special banter in it, so the girls promise him to do a sort of, was it harem thing, I think, which is don't feel sympathy for this little pervert girls, but anyway.
Sorry to cut you off on that, Blue Star, but Mineta at this point is just a stain. He is. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's just literally the worst, and there's more to come with that, but I'll get to it. Let's see.
Oh yeah, you got a big thing you need to talk about with that, I remember.
Oh yeah. Let's see, yeah, Jiro leading the performance, Bakugo the drums. There's also a funny moment where Jiro is also chosen as the lead singer, and some of the other guys saying, why not? But they're overblown by her singing voice. Let's see, the electric dude, Denki, okay?
Well, Denki's his first name, but...
Yeah, he's also one of the bass, along with, Tokiyami. And Bakugo is the drums. Let's see, the band team, Jiro, Yurino, let's see, Denki, Tokiyami, and Bakugo as the band. The stage team is Shoto, the animal dude, Aoyama.
Oh, Chico's a part of the dance team. I remember that.
Yeah. Twitzy, Tape Dude, Twitzy, and Kurishima's the staging team. They try to work out the crystal ball with the shining light thing. The dance team is pretty much everyone else. While Mineta gets a harem party to cheer him up, the scumbag. Let's see. Oh yeah, at the same time, I forgot to mention that Miro and Midoriya are visiting Eri and inviting her to the festival, and she's a bit reluctant at first until they point out these sweet apple candy things, which she becomes attractive to, and Midoriya promises her that he will get to see her dance and stuff and all that stuff. But see, at the same time, you're introduced to Gentle and his assistant Love stealing a convenience store, where you learn a bit about them. They're not exactly popular due to the fact they're not really doing big deal crimes, even though in his eyes they're justifying it because the shop brand has done some, scummy things, backdoors and stuff, but yeah, something like that. During which, we'd see, at the same time, you also have All Might training Midoriya to the next stage of his abilities, long-range attacks, because it's not just physical strength, but just close combat, because as we all know, All Might can make twisters and stuff, so he's now teaching Midoriya to do all that stuff, so he can now go up to 20% of his, powers. During when Eri comes to visit the school. We get to see all the other classrooms doing their thing. Class B is doing a play mixed up with various different movies, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, etc., etc.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
The mechanic girl, I forgot her name. Sorry, there's just so many characters you can't just remember all their names.
Oh, Hatsume?
Oh yeah, Hatsume. I think doing some gadget stuff, which also gives Midoriya a new costume upgrade with like new gloves. Assist with that. Let's see. I think you get with that guy that controls people with his voice briefly appearing. You even have a Miss Beauty pageant thing where the third girl, let's see, about the girl of the big three is contesting, even though the last 2 years it has been her rival with the bit long eyelashes winning. Well, this year she's determined to win it. Also, you've got to give her something, given the fact she was absent. She didn't really get the spotlight in her fight last arc. Oh, well.
You don't say.
You don't say.
Yeah.
You don't say along with the other three.
Oh, yeah. During which Midoriya is kind of fired from like the dancing team because he sucks at dancing. But they're going to have him dance, really. But first, they need him to help out with the stage team thing. Let's see, during which as time goes on, we then go back to like Gentle and Love. We learn a bit more about their relationship, how they end up meeting each other, and how they try to become big names like the big heroes and villains before them. During the day of the festival begins, they decide to ruin the festival. Midoriya's gone out to get some equipment that's needed while everyone's preparing. He runs into Gentle and Love and begins quite I would suppose, a boss-level battle. Despite how goofy the two characters are, the fight becomes quite intense, as the Gentle's ability is this elastic thing similar to Monkey D's Luffy's, I guess, but not like gun, but kind of more of like moving around in a sort of Spider-Man fashion, I guess. I don't know, that's how to describe it. The fight quite lasts long, and Gentle is powered up by Love's abilities, which is the power of love. So, I know 4Life was saying that, My Hero Academia was kind of something special in like reversing like shonen tropes, but then became a standard shonen. But I suppose it's still trying to do new plays on the shonen tropes. For like this example, for this one, the power of love goes to the villains instead of the heroes. So relax, My Hero Academia fans. My Hero isn't going full-on fairy tale just yet. But yeah.
What did you just say?
It hasn't, My Hero Academia isn't going up full-on fairy tale just yet.
How dare you bring up that No, I'm joking.
Well, I compare My Hero
guys.
Academia to Naruto.
That's still
Dungeon.
a bad one.
Dungeon. Back to the dungeon.
That's
You are off the council.
All right, guys. The only comment we still have is every villain keeps sucking it up every moment it comes.
Anyway,
Go.
Midoriya eventually defeats the villain, but we also get a bit of a flashback of why he became a villain, and it's kind of sympathetic. And also, Midoriya doesn't really mock the villains, which ends up him kind of liking Midoriya. Midoriya wins, but he also acknowledged Gentle as like the strongest opponent he faces. Coolest
guy ever.
Well, no, we haven't gotten to that level yet. Let's just not go there yet, but let's see. And some of the teachers who are out on patrol spot them. Gentle is arrested, but he tries to protect Love because he doesn't want her to be in jail for his misdeeds. Midoriya arrives at the festival. They play the music. They blow like the students away, and Eri is starting to finally be free from like the darkness that surrounds her from the days of when she was imprisoned and experimented on by Overhaul. The arc ends with like Gentle in prison, but talking about how he seems to have been saved by Midoriya or something else like that. The chapter itself, it's more of a similar pacing to like some of the more small like previous arcs before the internship arc. The standard 15 to 20 chapters. And it's more of just a slice of life. You just get some character moments with like Jero. You get more of a like.
You get more of her personality.
Personality, yeah. more of her hobbies and interests. You get to see them shine here. You see everyone trying to work together to make this band thing work. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the one thing that kind of just annoyed me is when Eri was introduced to like the class 1A student, when Mineta says like, "Come and see me again when you're 18. You, Mineta, are a piece of beep. You little beep. You son of a beep."
I mean, you want a character that needs to go through development. It's Mineta.
Oh,
I
yeah.
highly doubt that's going to happen.
Honestly, the perviness is wearing very thin right now.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it's going across the line.
I mean, it was like I'll say this: in the beginning, it was fine. Now it's gotten to a point where I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain he is definitely probably going to be the most hated character in the series. I've even seen some professional critic sites criticize the character, and by that I mean IGN. But still, I suppose you gotta go somewhere.
Oh, if you guys get the chance to see the movie,
but yeah, Mineta's worse than that. God damn it.
I wouldn't say he's worse, but it gets annoying. So,
okay, but yeah. Honestly, if I reviewed that chapter at the time, I would have dropped 1 point just for that one line. But yeah, other than that, it was nice seeing like interactions again. I suppose this arc also helps a follow up of like removing, like getting Eri more comfortable now that she's free from Overhaul's control. You get more funny moments with like Miro, particularly when students at Class 1A interrupt his entrance thing, and you can see he's kind of annoyed, which is funny. You get a little bit of world building as well, with Gentle's mentioning how these legendary heroes, besides All Might and Crimson Riot and this other dude who I can't remember, and along with the villains such as All For One and these two other villains were also mentioned. Whether or not those two will appear later on in the series or if they're from like really ancient times remains to be seen. But there was, even though this wasn't a like intense arc in the likes of, I suppose, the Stain arc, the villains interrupting Class A's class, let's see, the summer camp thing, or the raid arc, or the internship arc. It's more of just like, it did have its own kind of stakes as you had Gentle trying to interrupt, let's see, the festival, and Midoriya was determined not to let that happen. We also got like interesting character dynamics with Gentle and Love, which you're almost kind of sad that they've been arrested, as they could become quite fun recurring villains, given the fact that for a change, for once, we've got a bunch of villains, probably since the first chapter, with the sludge monster, villains that were in no shape or form somehow connected to the League of Villains. I won't say that this is on par with like the previous arcs that we've had before the internship thing, but it offers like a nice mix of slice of life, more development for Midoriya, and a pretty good boss battle for Midoriya, even though he had one just like only a few chapters back ago. But I suppose this one's a bit more focused, I guess, in a sense. But yeah, it's a nice arc. But let's see. But I will admit, given how I had such a hard time remembering some of the stuff because I only read it like once, I suppose you could also in some sense say it is kind of forgettable if you don't really pay too much, if you don't really reread it enough. But yeah, as far as My Hero Academia goes, I'll give it a B- or a B. Anyway, I take it you now want 4 Life to go, because I think you probably explain it much better than I do.
Well,
you did a good job.
you did a good job. You did a pretty good job, Blue Star. Don't take that credit away from you. But
okay,
that's what I was saying. I was like, I don't want to take this credit. Come on, that's not right.
But yeah,
but
I need to be a bit more confident in myself.
Sparda, your thoughts?
Yes.
How did you feel about the cultural festival arc, like going into it, coming off from the last big arc, which was the internship arc?
Well, going in, again, I was in that mood of like, oh, let me have some relaxation. So I'm assuming this chapter would be like another case of like, it's like, all right, that means we're just gonna take a break, have like a cool down break. It should not be the exact same thing as provisional exam. If we do that, then this is not gonna go well. But It's not that case. The case is the whole festival thing. That's the whole focus. It's pretty much like every school series you ever read. And it's like, you know what? I don't mind this kind of type of thing. And then you got the whole villain or anti-hero, anti-villain, whatever you want to call them. Gento and La Brava or La Love, whatever you want to call them. I think it's La Brava for my English translation, but whatever. Point is, these are the two villains, the two enemies for the deck was a face off. And he did. He does it in the same fashion that he always encounters every single villain known to mankind right now, which is weird. Yeah, they fought. The whole, I guess it's like, for as an overall thing, I thought it was good. I thought it was a good arc. I can't say it's a massive rebound. It's not there yet. I mean, it is a shorter arc too, so there's that. But it's not like that kind of arc. I was like, damn, that's so many crazy moments that just happened in one arc. It's more like a slice of life, as Bluestar put it, which is true. It's more of that with a insert of a villain, just for the sake of like, I guess for the morale, which is good too. But in terms of like how it's going to be effective for long-term longevity, not too much, honestly speaking. I mean, I guess it got referenced once just in a recent chapter, a recent arc. It kind of phoned in, but whatever. But going back to the arc, I actually thought the battle between him, Deku, and Gento was actually pretty good. It was entertaining. I thought it was fine. Maybe it went a little long, but it was good overall. I enjoyed the end piece. I guess the only downside is that Deku was pretty much the John Cena of the two. In other words, he cannot be taken down no matter how hard you try. So it's kind of hard to feel the struggle. It's more like the only is like, this guy is easy could beat him. So okay.
Anyways, you kind of rooting for the bad guy at some point.
In a sense, yeah, no, you're right. In a sense, you kind of do. I kind of wish the story writing was telling you to do that too, but it only got me rooting, so that was it. But it's still, it was still entertaining for that part. The end piece is pretty. It was good. I like how Gento got his respect because again, he wasn't a full-fledged villain. He's just more like like an anti-hero, anti-villain style. So he has respect for Deku. He gave himself in. He put more priority of him to be the problem more so than La Brava. So maybe her senses would be lighter in compare. But yeah, like that whole thing, it was nice of him. Backstory wise, I thought the last half of backstory was good. The first half is sort of is debatable, mainly because it feels a little bit too petty. I kind of wish it was like a little bit more legitimate reason for him to have his downfall. It doesn't have to be involved in death, but the way how it handled is a little kind of just thrown in order to say like, yep, that's how he went downhill. It could have handled differently, but the last half with the whole him and La Brava getting together as a partners, that part I like. That part I enjoy, especially with the whole mask thing. I thought that was neat. Yeah, so the battle between them was good. The Ares situation, I thought that was handled good as well. Like, I guess you could say it could have handled the last arc, but for if you wanted to get a full-fledged ending for it, this would be the time for it. And taking care of that with the whole festival thing, it's clearly it was more prioritized for that one for her sake. And then when you see the conclusion, it was a good feel moment. It was nice. I like how it ended with the whole candy apple, which Deku referred it back in the beginning of the arc, as you could call it that. So it was like, yeah, that was a good round or full circle thing. Nice enough. I guess the downside would be like the focus. It's a shame that the Slice of Life Cultural Festival was overwritten by the whole Gento part. Because I feel like I didn't care much about the festival at that point. Like it lost the focus on Jiro.
Like a little bit like the middle section.
I mean, you're kind of like focusing on Jiro when you find out that his like backstory about him wanting to be a hero, he was being deemed a failure by everyone. When he tried to save someone, he's mucked up, got expelled, and then he met one of his old classmates. He forgot about him, kind of thing. Yeah,
right. No, but I'm just saying, like, the whole festival thing, it kind of feels like a back burner or a background plot, more so than like something that could just be done with as a fun and entertaining arc altogether. It only happens around the very end, but it's like you're only thinking what happened with the whole Gentle thing. It's like, oh, that part is good. Like the Jiro feels like like, it's nice enough to have her moment, but it just feels like a back burner, especially like the flashback doesn't give her too much of an interesting backstory. It's very straightforward. Not to say she has to have a crazy backstory, but it just kind of tells you like a lot of characters are not really getting that much interesting backstory, except for the one that we have heard already. So we kind of limited ourselves to the one that we only care, which is Deku, Shoto, and Bakugo. And that's could be a little bit troubling because it's like I kind of wanted to know more of the other characters. And I like it's kind of falls in under like you see character design and you call them good characters. But the reality is they have good character design, but it doesn't mean good characters.
Just means they have a good design.
Character design.
Yeah,
that's it.
Developed characters right now for My Hero Academia, at least in terms of the class, are let's see, Midoriya, Ida, Uraraka, Bakugo, Shoto, Tsuyu, Yamono, and Kirishima. But go on.
But Ida hasn't had one in like a very long time, though.
Let's see. Yeah, go on. But I interrupted you for life. My apologies.
But yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. No, but that's what you see. The reason why I didn't mention the other ones that you mentioned is because it's been a long time, way too long. Especially Ochaku, which it feels like they dismissed the idea of like I really want to try hard as an underdog for the money, but in a good way.
Yeah, that was something that got addressed like at the end of the internship arc. I remember that.
Yeah, like it doesn't bring up as often as apparently this whole Deku thing, which is kind of eerie in a lot of sense. Especially you come back from Naruto, it's like, I'm not sure if I should be happy about this right now. But yeah, like Tenya or Ida. When was the last time you got a moment?
The Stain arc, yeah, that was like the last time you had
over 100 chapters in our time.
Yeah, that was but like if we're actually going by that, it's like maybe 3 arcs ago. No, I'm with.
Let's see, there was the class teachers match, there was the summer camp, the raid arc, the exam arc, the internship arc.
More than 5. I can say that it's been more than 5 arcs.
It's about 6.
Yeah, at least.
So yeah, I mean, he doesn't have like his backstory is normal, but like how it gets to the problem for him was interesting. I mean, it's the same thing. You see a lot of things, but it was still compelling because you see him going through an unusual path of his life. But like again, you look at these other characters, they don't get that much, so it's like it's hard to follow them through. Not anymore. It's not like with Assassination Classroom. A lot of kids has their own problems, whether it's really that bad, whether it's like very dark, or it's just bad because of the way how he's being handled himself or her, or she's being handled by herself. Like, oh, this guy is smart, but he's being a douchey. Why is that? Stuff like that. There's no variety. That's what I'm trying to say for these Class 1A, which is disappointing. So I thought with the festival, you could find a way to intertwine with the whole Gentle situation. But Gentle was taken care of by Deku and Deku alone. So it's like, oh, okay, I guess nobody will get involved, which is a shame because I predicted so many times they would get involved because Deku is a team player, so you would think everybody would help him out because he's been missing for so long. No, so it's like, okay, cool.
I partly wonder if maybe the editor told him to speed up the arc or not. Is the question whether that happened or not.
I'll be honest, like if it's like comes to that, because then, and it's not necessarily the same for My Hero Academia, but like for any manga, because at times you can kind of think that, because they're not able to tell the story at their full potential, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah.
No, you got it. You said it right. That's the downside. Another downside is like there's a lot of subplots. So I don't even know if you want to call them subplots, but there's like a lot of things to work on. Like, oh man, these councilmen, they hate us. They really don't like us. It's like, is that a real problem? It's like, is that really necessary to have that in that type of story? And it's not. They brush off super easily, but they sure emphasis a lot. I was like, there was no need for that kind of subplot. So, like a lot of things in the festival, the only entertaining part was pretty much the last 2 chapters of it, entertaining part. Everything else just seems like it's just thrown in just to show you stuff. But it felt like if you wanted to have fun with it, you could have stretched it long enough and just have a lot of different variations just to have fun. But the focus was all on Gento. So that kind of overrides it. And I was like, I had fun with that fight, but I could have sworn I had a festival to attend. So it's kind of like uneven in the sense. I guess that's the way I'm trying to say. It's like it feels uneven in terms of handling all the plot points or the scenarios that these characters are going through. And if mainly overridden by Deku going against Gento and Gento is and La Brava situation. So I guess that's like the downside. And then, again, the battle was taken care of by Deku alone without any real struggle. So it's like, kind of easy. So, yeah. I mean, it was still a good arc, though. Like I said, it did accomplish many things, small things, but it accomplished enough. A good fight. And I do wonder if Kohi actually gone back to that chapter and finished the sketches. I'm pretty sure he has. I don't have the volume. I don't have the Japanese volume or anything like that. But I would like to think he has finished the sketches.
I suppose so. Didn't like the author for like Hunter x Hunter, Tagashi, but he do like sketches for like some of the Hunter x Hunter chapters. But then for the Tankobon volumes, he actually did more proper artwork for them.
Yeah, that's what he usually does. Yeah, I mean, everybody really does that. Everyone so far I know, they usually just fix it up. Like that's always been the case in the volume version. Because the magazine, you have a time limit. Like, oh no, I gotta get the chapter done in a week, but my arm is cramped. What am I gonna do?
But then with the volume, it's like you notice like what you might have messed up on, and then fix that up in the volume.
Right, exactly. I think that's all. That's really all I have to say. It's just a simple, straightforward, but an entertaining arc nonetheless. I mean, maybe was it going to be so much more because it's short, and maybe the focus probably wasn't going to be that interesting. Depends how he can do it. I don't know, but I feel like there was an opportunity being missed. Well, not being, it is missed. So, but for what it is, I thought it was good.
So that comes to me now, and it's actually kind of interesting what my thoughts are when it comes to this particular arc, because coming up from the internship arc, not to say my level for My Hero Academia is kind of dwindled, like in terms of like looking forward to the chapters, because I always do that. Even to this day, like I'm like, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be happening next. The quality, though, I did feel kind of hit bumps in the internship arc. And did this arc redeem some of those bumps? I wouldn't say that necessarily, but if you wanted to come off from that and cut into this, I will definitely say that this arc, just to kind of reiterate some points that Blue Star and Sparta had mentioned, the whole backstory with Gentle and La Brava, I thought that was nice, and it just comes to show you that not all villains are born out of like hate and mass and like they just want to take over the world. Like Gentle, I thought was kind of unique because all the dude wanted was views. That's it. He was doing all the things that he was doing.
In many ways, he's like the modern villain of like today's 21st century society.
I know, which is crazy, but yeah, exactly like that. I just thought that was kind of unique. And then one of the few things I really liked about the arc was it brought that unique factor back into place that I feel like was kind of missing during the internship arc. Like it was still there, but I feel like the execution in terms of how it was using things wasn't perfect. I'm not saying this was perfect either, but if I had to pick like, okay, what was better executed, I would definitely say that the uniqueness that My Hero Academia is like really known for definitely shined more here than I think it did in the internship arc. That's just me though. I did like that we got some stuff on Jiro, even though it was kind of short. Like it's good. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You did kind of feel like her stuff did get a little bit on the backseat because most of the arc was focused on the fight between Deku and Gentle and La Brava. But if you had to ask me which fight I enjoyed more between Deku and Gentle and La Brava versus Deku and Overhaul, here's what I'm going to say, and this will be interesting, because I think the Deku versus Gentle and La Brava fight was a lot better, in my personal opinion, because if you look at it this way, for the Overhaul fight, Deku had to rely on Eri. That's the important thing. he had to rely on Eerie when it came to that fight, and that's why he was able to do well in that fight. Here, not only is he out in public sight, he was taking on the villain by himself since acquiring his license. Nobody else was there to assist him. So, I mean, you could say that, well, Gentle wasn't that big of a villain. Yes, you can definitely say that. But the fact that Deku was able to, take care of somebody on his own without any assistance, I think that just shows you, in terms of like his stamina and his like strength, kind of like how far Deku's just come as a character. And from that standpoint, I think it worked. Plus, he learned a new move. Deku learned, if I'm getting this correctly, the Delaware Smash Air Force. He got a new support item from May. He's able to fight long range now. Because before, and this was in the anime just recently, but with the provisional license arc, he was able to use his feet. And now he's able to get a new ability where, he's able to move around in the air. That, to me, I thought was neat and interesting. And the way how Koei was able to maneuver around with those abilities with Deku, and how he was able to work well against La Brava and Gentle was good. Also, I do like, this was something that Sparda and BlueStar brought up. Yeah, you have the whole, the power of love, the power of friendship. We've seen this trope already. It's on the villain side, though. That, again, is another unique factor that I think worked. Because it's not on the hero side of things, it's on the villain side of things. And when you think of La Brava's personality and her character, I think that fits perfectly, in my opinion. So, the way how the fight's able to go down, the way how it ends, and I know more so talking about the fight, but I guess we should also talk about how Deku and Gentle kind of came to know of one another. Well, more so with Deku, because it was during the whole process of what they were going to do with the festival. And then Deku was like, he accidentally played a video, and he had come across that one video of Gentle like robbing a store. He's not really that popular, but he was able to deduce from that during, when he first ran into Gentle, like, you're that guy. So, did it feel a little coincidental? Yeah, I will say that. Would it have been better if like Gentle actually was able to infiltrate into the culture festival, like when it was still going on? Yeah, I will definitely say that. But the negative aspects is definitely the entire UA culture festival. Not that it was forgotten about, but it was more so just the middle section where it kind of fell back up until the end. And I think, like I said, there was a way Koei could have actually, would have been able to meld it all perfectly together. In terms of like how he was able to go about, telling the story, how he was able to get Deku and Gentle to meet up. It could have been better if it had been during the festival itself. To say the least, when it came to the connection between Gentle and Deku, I do like how it was kind of focused on like the individual girls. Like for Deku, it was with Eerie, about wanting her to, of wanting her to smile. And Gentle, it was the same thing with La Brava. It wasn't the fact that, he didn't want to make her sad. He wanted her to kind of be happy. And it wasn't that, oh yes, you are going to be my evil little puppet. No, he actually genuinely cared for La Brava. And I actually thought that was nice. I really did. Now, of course, by the end of the arc, Gentle and La Brava do go to jail. And that's where they currently are right now. Though that does kind of answer the question of, will we ever see them again? I think so. I think there's a chance we could see them again. Maybe a potential prison break arc, if Koei decides to go that route, which would be great, actually, if he did. But that's going in predictions territory. But yeah, La Brava's quirk, Love, I thought was unique, and I liked how Koei was able to demonstrate that. And then also, I didn't talk about Gentle's quirk, but he basically is able to bestow elasticity to anything he touches. By itself, the arc, my general thoughts on it, I will say for the uniqueness factor, for how fun the arc was, and how, like, was it tightly paced? I don't know if I would say it was tightly paced, but I think it was paced pretty well. And that was one thing I really did like about the arc, too, was that it was paced pretty well. it didn't really drag on too much like the internship arc did. And if I'm looking at it from that aspect, the fact that it was fun, the fact that, the fight itself, well, yeah, it was low stakes. There wasn't anything big happening. But you did get some stuff. Deku was able to defeat a villain on him by himself. He learned a new ability. Not only that, he kind of got to learn that even though there are some villains, they have this backstory, and as sad as it could be, like, there are some dreams that have to be crushed, and he realizes that as a hero, that has to happen. And that, I think that's a good takeaway that Deku actually can have coming off from this arc. And if we're talking about just Deku by himself and what he was able to do, I don't have any more I could say about it than just that. So I think overall, if I had to rate the arc by itself, let's see, if I gave the internship arc like a good plus, which was around like a 7.5 out of 10, I would say this arc would be, it's not amazing. Make no mistake when I say that. It's not an amazing arc. But for what the arc was, and coming off from the internship arc, coming off from the Remedial course arc, given with what the arc was able to do and what it was able to convey, I would give it a great plus, which is around an 8.5 out of 10. It's not exactly perfect, but it is what it is. And that's just basically my stance when it comes to the cultural festival arc.
I guess we didn't. I suppose we didn't really go full in detail about the backstory of Gentle and Love. I guess
we kind of did, but we don't need to go that too much of a detail. I think a lot of people know.
I guess the only thing I guess is that I could go into more detail. That Love originally tried to send a love letter to like a guy from her school, but she overheard him saying that she's creepy or something. Then she found Gentle's videos, and decided to go meet him, and the two became a tag team. I suppose that's it. But yeah, I suppose
team match.
Let's see. It is a kind of quick arc, so there's not much more to talk about.
No, there isn't. But I think what we could talk about, and because My Hero Academia, at least by this point, it's kind of divided into sagas. Like, you have the sagas and then the arcs that are like composed within it. So right now for My Hero Academia, we're in the Rise of the Villain saga, which started with the license exam arc.
Yeah.
And
So wait, what's the first saga called then?
The first saga is called the UA Beginning saga, and that's from obviously the beginning to the Hideout arc. First 100 chapters.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go back to that saga, please?
But I think the question I'm going to bring up here is, do you guys think so far that this is the best arc in the saga?
No. Oh, in the saga.
Not in terms of like the overall series, but not in terms of what we have so far, but just in the saga itself.
Yeah, it is. I mean, with all due respect, it's not easy to. It's not hard to top at all in terms of the saga. Yeah, we only got 3 arcs. Well, when we're comparing just the one that we stopped at.
We have this arc, we have the internship arc, and then we have the provisional arc. That's it.
Yes, provisional arc is pretty much an arc that has everybody literally just stole their cooldown from the hideout radar, which is not a great idea. You're supposed to cool them down, but not literally steal their all their hype away. that was I think that was like even in the anime could not be done. I was like, damn. Yeah, I forgot. This is kind of boring. So anyway. Yeah, the provisional exam arc. Again, the only redemption or good part is really the Bakugo and Deku part. Internship arc, way too long. I mean, if I don't mind being too long, but your payoff gotta be good, and that payoff was not good. So yeah, easily the festival arc is the best one in the saga, if you want to call it that.
Let's see. I'm not sure where I stand with each of the arcs right now. I mean, I suppose the arc that follows up after it was kind of rushed, and it wasn't really focusing on many of the students, to be honest. Well, Shelter got a little bit, but that'll be spoilers for that. I guess, depending on how the current arc goes, it might be the new favorite, unless the League of
Current arc?
The current arc of My Hero Academia.
Oh, Class 1A versus Class B. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you just kind of
spoiled. That one?
Not too much of a spoiler.
Alright, but yeah.
That's the arc.
What is there to spoil? There's nothing happening.
Well, I know, it depends. Well,
not exactly
depending on how you like.
The arc is provisional exam part 2. now only 2 class.
Ooh, you're gonna stir something up.
Fine, but let's see. But honestly, I mean,
It's literally just all action, no sputter, whatever you want to say it. I don't even know how you say it anymore.
Let's see. 4 Life. It's not over yet.
It's because of it's only 7 chapters. 7 chapters of okay-ish.
But before we know, the next.
So you expect something? You expect some major heavy story coming through for the next 2 battle before the final one.
Yeah, like let's say Shigaraki comes in, snatches Ochiko away.
No.
That sounds like some guy. You think it's kind of boring? You think you can spice it up? Like what? Just put a villain. Just throw in a villain. Like that seems like something in the editor. It's like in wrestling. This match everybody's really crapping on. Quick, you two go out there, interfere, beat them up, make them happy.
No. Let me finish. I'm just saying that some interesting more development that could happen with like Midoriya.
There is no development. That's a month. There is no development. Well, okay, but that's guaranteed. Can we get development from the other guys?
Okay, fine. I mean, also development from some of the other characters. Yeah, I mean, we've seen 2 fights. We still have 3 to go. But anyway, fine. Okay, maybe there won't be another good arc until the League of Villains get the spotlight again.
But yeah, just in terms of the 3 arcs.
Okay, fine. At the moment, I suppose probably this one by default because I don't know. I need to reread the arc that succeeds it. But yeah.
You talk about the internship or the provisional?
No, I'm talking about the one with the hero rankings.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the preview.
I haven't mixed on that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Coolest guy ever.
That's probably also the most controversial one in Japan.
Surprisingly. But we'll get to that arc when we get to that arc. But yeah, my answer is definitely the same as you guys. Like, it's the provisional arc, internship, and then the second. So people are gonna be like, "What? How could you put the internship arc at number 2?" It's like, it's not a bad arc. Let me say that again. It's not, the internship arc is not a bad arc. In fact, I like the first half of that arc. The first half is good.
Well, not much really happened in the first half, but it was interesting.
Yeah, but then and I'm gonna say what I said in the podcast. Once we get to the base, it just kind of stalls for a while, and I'm like,
yes.
I'm okay with the arc, but gotta get places.
All that build up from the provisional exam and the first half just gone to waste for something that just happened for one moment, especially with the whole Deku blood. Could have been the best time to use it to
remember that too.
Frame him. Could have been the best time to frame his ass. No, just that one part because Ochaku still has a thing. Excuse me, almost went rated R.
But yeah, like
so it's like okay.
Yeah,
it's like I don't even know what's the reaction from the anime fans, but I imagine they think every possibility, and I'm like, you do, yeah, those are good, woohoo,
right? No, but and that's thing is like, well, okay, but we're gonna get to the final fight. I'm like, look, the final fight was good, but it could have been much better. I'll be real.
Way better. That final fight was very, very Dragon Ball without the Flash. Well, except for the ending, but that kind of Flash is so basic. Flash is not even that cool Flash. I know Bones is gonna do it good, but
And it's like, but it was like Deku versus Overhaul. I'm like, no, correction, it's Deku and Eri versus Overhaul. That's what the fight was.
Like, I got the high ground, you got the low ground. Oh, he's powered up. Oh no, what are we gonna do? Can we attack him? No, he repelled everything. He's like Cell when he goes perfect. Twice.
And then that's
like very, very trading. And that's another thing. Well, actually, we cannot talk about the current arc.
Not yet.
Go.
Because we have no idea how long this current arc is going to be. Hopefully, it's not that long. Yeah. So that's why it's at number 2. Not to say, it's like Death, Mirio. It's like, I know, I get that it was intense, but the payoff though.
I mean, that part was the last good part. The whole Mirio going against Overhaul. That was the last good part. Then everything just went.
I know that part was cool too. I was like,
and then Blue Star constantly nagging me. when heroine. I'm like, wait, it's not over yet. When heroine, next chapter. When heroine, flip star, please. When heroine, flip star.
It was a constructive criticism.
We had a group.
We have four. One new one, two veterans. Well, in terms of writing. And the other one is actually a veteran. I forgot her name. The dragon. Ryokuyo. I forgot her name. But her.
Yeah.
We have four. Effing four.
Yeah, but there's no point in Sitsi having four if we don't see the battle.
Oh, man, Tamaki. Oh, I know how he is. He used to be a downer, but thanks to Mirio, he is motivated. Oh, Mirio, he always wanted to be a hero. He's like another All Might. Nejiri. Something. Just by the cover. She have a sexy pose in the front cover of volume 18, I want to say.
Was it?
Yeah. I think it was something. I know she has a bending position. I was like, oh.
Oh.
Yeah, that's hell. I remember saying that on Twitter, just quoting. Yep, this is all I can do for her. It's the least I could do for not giving her a fight. That's all I remember saying.
Well, at least she got a beauty pageant, which thankfully didn't become too fan servicey, to say the least.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so
by that time I didn't care. I only care Hasabe because at least she does her role right.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, I know the internship arc was intense, but it had its moments where I'm like, you had things you could have fixed easily. Easily.
Or no Chaku. Every time I see my damn post, game reminder. Oh yeah, because I remember I made a praise for that chapter. I'm still waiting for another praise for her. When? It's over 100 damn chapters now.
Right? Oh god. But
is this another Kishimoto? Just say it, and that could just be the end of it.
I hope not.
Well, given the fact that the manga is inspired by Kishimoto's work, it could be.
Well, don't say that.
Yeah, I said it, and I don't regret it.
Terrible.
Oh god.
No, but and then again,
fly to heaven.
And then when it comes to again the cultural festival arc, it's like, yeah, you had some things you could have fixed. Like, and it's not like character moments per se. It's just essentially how you could have like interweaved the Deku and Gentle and Labrava stuff into the festival itself. That's really like my only big criticism of the arc is just that, and then maybe like a couple things that you could have done here and there. But it's like, okay, so what's your pick? Like, do you want an intense arc that has like some disappointing factors, or an arc where you get a good confrontation between Izuku versus Gentle and Labrava, and it actually having a good payoff, but it had some things that could have been, it had some story things where it could have been neatly, like tightly wrapped together. I'll take that over what we got in the internship arc, and that's my reason of why I picked this arc the best arc so far as the Rise of the Villain Saga goes. Which, if it's called Rise of the Villain Saga, I'm waiting.
I'm waiting. Oh god, I'm waiting for somebody to pull a Rhina. You have been Rhina.
Watch it be Shinso.
Oh god,
that'd be interesting, actually. Shit.
Yeah. Oh no, where are you? Cannot be that visible girl anymore, unless she's a Rhina.
Jeez. Yeah, that's true. I think one last thing we could touch on, because we can't really go into predictions since we're already 2 arcs ahead now. In terms of season 4, because I know a lot of people are saying that season 4 is probably going to be all of the overhaul stuff, which wouldn't surprise me. But do you guys think ending off season 4 would be better if it was this arc, like the cultural festival arc?
I think it shouldn't include it.
That they shouldn't
include it. I say I think it should include it, just to have a happy ending for the sake of happy ending. And plus, it is a follow up with the whole Aries stuff.
Given how some of the chapters of like internship arc are with like season 3, it's possible that, and I think the remaining ones will do like 20 chapters. I suppose if they're going to do like, let's see, I don't know, and then again there's like the 6 chapters before of that little mini arc before this one, so I don't know. I guess it really depends on how they pace season 4. if they do
If they do what Attack on Titan season 3 did, I'm on board.
Right, if they do like instead of 2 chapters in one, 3 chapters in one, that could potentially reduce the episodes to possibly like roughly around more of like, let's see, 18 or 17 possibly. I don't know. I feel like this festival will be the start of season 5, and then you'll have the arc that follows it, and then the current arc we have, maybe another arc depending on what's going to happen next. I don't know.
It could be that. I could see it playing out that way, but I think if you wanted to build up season 5, which let's be honest, there will be a season 5. That much is guaranteed. I think it would make much more sense if you had the next arc be the start of season 5. That I think would make much more sense.
It's gonna be like season 3. Oh, so cool in the beginning. Second half. I mean, if you go with the season 5.
Well, yeah, if you go from that approach.
Like, you kind of wish you have a season 2 pace. Oh, everything is fun. You got the cool action. You got the driving force of these characters. You got the fun stuff from these characters. The festival sports thing. Cool. I wonder if we get serious part. We do. We're Stain. And it's crazy because these 3 characters actually have something meaningful without resorting to like, we gotta beat this villain. Only that's my reason to be here. Cool. I feel like I'm so with them. Yay. So any reason why season 2 was better.
I'm pretty certain for you, For Life season 2 is going to be the highlight for My Hero Academia for the time being.
You know, the crazy thing is, if season 3 first half would actually be season 2, that would have been a hell of a season.
It would have, actually, now that I think about it.
It would have been like, oh, no wonder there's so many fans now. I don't blame them. That season was too good. It was glorious.
It's like you end it with All Might losing his power. It's like, holy shit. It's like, what are they going to follow up with the next provisional?
Maybe the sports festival was the second half of season 1, and they did like the summer camp and the raid arc as the second half of season 2. Maybe.
Shut up and take my money. That would have been like, yes.
Thank you, pretty much. I was like, oh, now I know why you guys are fans. Damn.
Yeah, so.
So yeah. What was
that's
the
the only way I could see it working out, because I mean, I don't know. Could the arc work for the start of season 5? It could, but I don't know.
I would prefer you just get out the cultural festival out of the way in season 4.
Oh yeah, that's what I think.
It's just because it lines up. I mean, it's hard to say because that arc was really long, so I don't know how they're gonna do it.
But it is a good.
Maybe if they, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, remember they have a 25 episode season rule at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, just don't do no more. Don't do
unless
no more.
you're Sword Art Online Alicization, which has like.
I mean, too much into one season, that may result into doing like the old weekly one episode a week style that the Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece are doing.
They should pull a Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. All 64 or 67 episodes in one go. No stuffing.
Yeah, but that's just because the manga was near its end at that point.
That's true.
Yeah, but still, my point is just go all out. But it's just like, oh, okay, we're up to a 36 episode of this season. Well, we're done because we just stopped at in Denver part, so we're cool. Just saying. I'm not sure if Bones could do that this time around. I mean, they could do 25, sure. I just don't know they could do like unlimited, especially they got other series to work on right now.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I mean, and again, guys, we're not saying Koei has fallen off from grace with My Hero Academia. He hasn't.
I am. Nah.
It hasn't gone to the A level of pools yet.
No.
Don't worry. We're not there. Not there. No.
But you could kind of say now that My Hero Academia does have its flaws. Like, yeah, it was still kind of there early on too, but I think now those flaws are beginning to be a little more noticeable.
How dare you say that? My Hero Academia is flawless. What are you talking about? I know. I just ranted and raved just earlier, but that doesn't mean it's flawed. It's flawless.
I thought you said Gintama was flawless for life.
I ain't say that now. I never said that. And if I did, I was joking.
You said it was God's work, but hey.
It is still God's work. I mean, even gods could make mistakes. So there you go.
That's true. So yeah, I definitely do think like even now, like after 200 chapters, even after this, so far the best arc in the saga, Koei still has a lot of room to improve. Yeah.
Yes.
He still has a lot to improve. Like even right now with the current arc that we're having in the manga.
I'm kidding. It is early, but
I feel like given the fact that we keep talking about the future arcs, I think we need to do the next arc podcast quite soon, just so we don't keep spoiling.
Are you trying to hijack the podcast again, Blue Star?
I'm sorry, but you've been so delaying for so long that at this point someone might have to take over.
I have my reasons. Okay,
Mr. Delay.
Hey, it's better than being cursed. That much is true. So, like we said before, the arc itself, best arc in the saga so far, would probably be a bit better if it's at the end of season 4. And then, of course, Koei has room to improve. Could we see Gentle and Labrava again in the future? Probably. But how long is it going to be until we do see them? If we see them. Time will be the teller of that. And aside from that, guys, that is pretty much it. Unless you guys have some other things you wanted to talk about with the arc done.
Well, I'd like to talk to Blue Star after this podcast finished recording. So there's that.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, looks like you have a few things to say to me. And from the sound of your tone, it's not going to be completely pleasant for me, but okay.
And not to worry, folks. Not to worry. Blue Star will not be taking over the podcast. It'll never happen. It'll be another Suicide Squad.
Oh God, not again.
Suicide Squad and Dawn of Justice.
We will talk about that another time. So, aside from that, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm LuckyG7.
I'm BlueStarSaber.
Sparda3g. Well, I guess I gotta repeat myself. Sparda3g.
Oh, sorry. I guess you're going first.
That's okay. That's okay. Sparda3g. Once more.
And plus Ultra.